eSports.ch. Powered by UPC.
Hey friends, it's me again, Uli, and today I want to talk a little bit about keyboards and what's important when you need a new one. So, let's get started. But first, this video is supported by Logitech again. They gave me this keyboard over here, the G810 Orion Spectrum. Today we have again 4 topics. The first one is feelings. Yeah, feelings to your keyboard. The second one is about the design. The third about mechanic versus normal keyboards. And the fourth about additional functions a keyboard should have. So let's dive right into it. Yes, friends, we talk about feelings now. Especially the feeling when you get your hand onto your keyboard. So what really important is when you get your hands on your keyboard is each press of each key feels to you. That's the first one, and the second one would be the distances between the single keys. So if I lay my hand on my keyboard, I automatically do it like I'm trained to do. Okay? So if I have a new keyboard and the space between the single keys is a little bit different, I will automatically lay my hand on a different place. I hope that does make sense to you. And yeah, the only thing I can recommend to you again here is just go into a shop, close your eyes, lay your hand on the keyboard and see where your hand really lands. And that's the best way, I think, to figure out if the spaces between the keys is good for you, for your hand, how you used to have the space between the keys or not. That's it concerning the feelings, and let's go further with the design. We already talked a lot about design in my previous video about Nous. So yeah, this time design is simply irrelevant when it comes to your choice of keyboard. Keyboards who look very nice and very fancy and stuff aren't automatically the best ones. This one is pretty simple actually, and I haven't had a better keyboard in years. So it's really about the mechanical stuff, about the functions a keyboard has to have for us gamers, and not about the design. So, talking about functions and mechanic, our next topic is what really is a mechanic keyboard, or what's the real difference between a mechanic and a normal keyboard. Alright, the difference between mechanic and normal keyboards. It's pretty simple actually. With a normal keyboard, okay, you got here all your keys, and down below there is a kind of plastic stuff right under the keys. But it's one single plastic thing over the whole keyboard. And this plastic thing measures which key you used and transfers the signal to your computer. So the difference between with a mechanical keyboard is that you haven't got this plastic thing under the keys. Each single key has its own mechanic and is measured on its own. Okay, so this is really important because each single key sends out a signal. It's not about this plastic thing which can break really fast. It's really about each single key. So that is also one reason why mechanical keyboards are much more expensive than the normal ones. And this means for us gamers, there's nothing else than mechanical keyboards, because you really need those single signals the keyboard sends out so the PC can interpret each signal and is as accurate as we need it to be. And we go further with our last topic, and that's functions and futures and stuff we all like so much. Okay guys, you know better than me what different functions and futures and stuff means to us sometimes. Even if it's not really necessary that a keyboard or some other stuff has those functions and futures. So let's first talk about displays in keyboards. This one hasn't got one, but I think a display in your keyboard can show some nice stuff and information and things and so, but for gaming it's not really necessary because it doesn't show you any information that help you improve your gaming skills or stuff like that. Secondly, programmable keys. I don't really need those programming keys. They are nice, and for some people they are absolutely necessary, but for me personally I don't really need those. With this keyboard you can program the F keys separately for each game you play. You can have a profile and then program those keys. Well, as I said, I don't really need it, but I think it's pretty useful sometimes. For the last thing or functionality, I think every gamer keyboard needs to have this, is anti-ghosting. There's absolutely no way around this function. But what is this? Anti-ghosting makes sure that even if we press more than one key at once, that the signals trespass and the computer really interprets the signals. If a keyboard doesn't have anti-ghosting, it can happen that if you press two keys or more at once, that one of the commands you send, like press Q or W or E in mobiles, will not trespass, and so the action doesn't take place. So you press a key but nothing happens, and that's really bad. That's really, really bad. So without anti-ghosting, nothing works. Alright, that's it from my side. Please tell me what you think is important for you when you buy a new keyboard. I'd really like to read about that on Facebook or in the YouTube comments or on esports.ch. Tell me that, I read it and I'll be happy, and I hope you are happy too. So, see you another time. Bye bye.
eSports.ch Powered by UPC.